I have to admit, it's been a little bit weird playing a dank and dark and creepy and kind of slow-paced action RPG on the lead-up and the build-up to E3, but that's precisely what I've been doing as I've been playing Vampyr. I'm going to choose to call it Vampyr. It's developed by Dontnod. Focus is the publisher here. I played it on the PlayStation 4, on my Pro, on a 4K television set. You play this doctor, Dr. Reed, who wakes up in this pit of bodies and realizes that he's still alive, but is he alive? Because he's a vampire. So he's a vampire and a doctor, and you can choose to be a total asshole vampire and run around and just kill everybody and suck their blood, and then you will become a much more powerful creature, but there's good in you. So you're kind of like a tormented supervillain at the turn of the century England. It's up to you to decide whether you're going to go and hack and slash and bite your way through everybody, or if you're going to try to save some of the townfolk and try to keep some of the districts of this London setting, stabilized. Or you can let everything sort of fall into chaos, and you're not only sort of at street level, you're under bridges and you're in sewers, and you've got a lot of interior elements within a hospital, and of course you're talking with lots of nurses and doctors, and you're meeting other vampires at various levels of decay and sort of moral servitude. You have all kinds of enemies to contend with. There's human enemies that are sort of out hunting vampires, and they can smell it on you, and they start shooting at you. And it does take like a good 8 levels before the combat starts to become fun. You can augment yourself with some of these vampiric powers, which are cool. Like you'll shoot a blood sort of extension out of you that just impales people. You've got these blood spikes that come up out of the ground. You can transform yourself into these ultimate creations if you get enough of the sort of blood points that you can spend on these varying degrees. You can augment your health. You can augment the way that you shield up a little bit. You can give yourself some extra syringes and some extra ammunition. You've also got a couple of different ways that you can engage in combat. You can choose to have two-handed weapons or like a hatchet and a gun. There's stun devices and stuff like that where you're whacking some of the enemies, and then you can chomp on them for a little bit to give you some blood powers and some blood points and stuff. And then you get these experience points, which you can use as your currency to kind of level up. And you have to go to sleep at night, and that's when your leveling up all sort of occurs, and then you wake up and then you've got your objectives and stuff. There's a lot of like hunting the cursor and trying to find where you are. Lots of closed doors that you can't get anywhere. It's not like a full open world, but you still get the sense of story. You still get the characterization. It's just an evocative game. It takes you to the place, and I think that's what's incredible. The sense of travel into a different time is very well represented in this game. It looked amazing on my 4K TV. The shadows, the deep darks, and the crimson reds, and just the smoke, and there's this ethereal quality that's coming off of the mist and the rain and stuff like that. I was really impressed with the locations and the candle flicker lighting and the gas lamps, and there's a lot of rot that's seeping in, and you feel it. You can almost smell this game in terms of its environmental details and stuff, which I think is really incredible. I was also very impressed that Dontnod chose to go in a completely different direction with the game mechanics of this title. It's not like Life is Strange, which would have been the easy kind of choice, but this is definitely it's a role-playing experience. And I have to tell you, it took me a little while to kind of crack through its slower pace, but it does feel deep and engrossing and transportive, and also incredibly ill-timed with all the chaos and madness and the cyberpunks and the controls and the Spider-Man sort of hoopla that we get out of E3. It just felt so weird to slow my mind down and sit down and sort of become this vampire doctor. But that's also part of its charm. And I also think that it kind of makes a statement that we need more risk-taking, cool games like this. Whole time I'm playing it, I'm thinking, I don't know if this is going to do well in the current sort of climate that we have. This is not Overwatch, this is not Fortnite, but I sure had fun, and I kept thinking, buried treasure, buried treasure. I hope it's more than that. I hope you go and search this one out. I'm going to give Vampyr an 8 out of 10.